Hey guys, it's Krystal, and this year is almost over, my friends. 2021 is more than halfway through, but there's still a lot of tech that I'm excited for this year. Probably the tech that I'm most excited for has not yet been released. So I made a little list in no particular order. Some of these things have been announced but not released, and some of these things are still in the rumor stage. All in all though, here's the upcoming tech that I'm most excited for. Let's start off the list with the latest news this week. These two have officially been announced: the Galaxy Z Fold 3 and the Z Flip 3. These two go hand in hand because they're Samsung's latest and greatest foldable devices. And I don't know about you guys, but foldable tech is always so refreshing to me. It still feels new, even though the tech behind it is not exactly new. In the past few years though, foldables haven't always been the most reliable when it comes to durability, but that's why this launch is so exciting, because these are meant to be the most durable folds and flips yet. There's been hardware and design refinements in both devices. There's tougher Gorilla Glass and materials. They're both IPX8 water resistant. The hinge sticks out less in both too, so all around is looking like a lot better build quality this time around. Performance-wise, both are looking good too with that Snapdragon 888 processor. And a little bonus with the Fold 3 is that under-display camera, which I'm excited to check out. But when it comes to pricing, not looking too bad either. I thought it was gonna go way up, but it actually went down in a way. I mean, if you're picking up the Fold 3, you're still gonna be spending a bit, but $999 for the Flip 3, considering what you get, seems like a pretty good deal.
See you on the flippity flip.
Now you guys know me, I love taking photos in any smartphone that I have, and that's why I tend to go for the Pro model in most cases. And as exciting as the Fold 3 seems, I'm almost a little more intrigued by the Flip 3. I mean, I really love the Flip 2. I love that it folds this way instead of this way. It's just more pocket size, and something about the mobility of it all. I think I'm leaning more towards that one over the Fold 3, but I guess we'll see when I check them out.
Yeah.
Moving along, since we're talking phones, let's talk iPhone season. At this point, everything is still rumors, nothing official yet, but we do know there is a new iPhone right around the corner.
Yes.
Some people are calling it iPhone 13, some people are saying iPhone 12s, since it's looking more like a 12s kind of update, because last year's phone was really different to the prior year, so this year there might just be some refinements. In terms of lineup, it's looking pretty similar to last year's with 4 models: the mini, the regular iPhone, the regular size Pro, and the bigger Pro Max. And I think this is the year that I'm gonna commit to the regular size Pro, unless there's some major advantages with the Pro Max. I kinda wanna downsize because I used the mini for a while last year, and then I jumped over to the Pro Max because I missed the size and the battery life, but the Pro Max is a really big phone, and these days I've been using my iPad a lot, so it'd be nice to downsize a little bit. In terms of design, it's not looking like it'll be all too different, but we might see a smaller notch, and this might also be the year that we see that 120Hz ProMotion display on the Pro models. We really thought we were going to see that last year, but it looks like Apple might have scrapped it to preserve battery life for 5G. 5G plus that 120Hz display might have been too much, so hopefully we see it this year.
I sure hope so.
With every year, there's always a new processor, so more than likely we'll see that A15 chip introduced. And you guys already know what I'm always most excited for is any camera improvements, and there's been some good rumors recently. On the video side, there's some talk about potentially seeing ProRes, so similar to how we saw ProRAW on the photo side of things, that'll give us so much more flexibility over video. And there's also potentially portrait video. So on the outside, it might not seem all too exciting, but on the inside, there's a lot to look forward to, especially if you're coming from an older device like an 11 or anything prior. Next up on my list, if you are a MacBook Pro user and you've been holding off on upgrading, I think you're gonna be just as excited as I am for this next one, the M1X MacBook Pro, which we should see in 2 sizes, 14-inch and 16-inch. Now, I've been extremely happy with my M1 13-inch MacBook Pro. It has surpassed my expectations in every way, and to this day is still my main machine. So of course, I'm definitely excited for the next step up to this, which should bring even better battery life and performance. And that's really what the M1 experience has been all about. Performance, everything's just so well optimized on M1 and works so well. And battery life has been unmatched to the point where it'll last me so long, and I can even do things on 5% battery, which I've never been able to do before. So it's looking like M1X is going to bring us a 10-core processor with 8 high-performance cores and 2 high-efficiency cores and up to 64 gigs of RAM. And I cannot even imagine what that's going to feel like with even better battery. Honestly, 16 gigs of RAM has been great. It's definitely worth the update over the 8 gigs. And even though 64 would feel like a dream, I would be more than happy with 32. Now this time around, we might see a complete redesign with a more flat, less rounded MacBook Pro. Along with that, we might see some of those ports that we've been wanting, like an SD card slot, and the touch bar might be replaced for hardware function keys. So all around, this is looking like a pretty monumental upgrade. Another rumored update, probably the biggest one of all, is the implementation of a mini LED display, which will give us an OLED-like feel, but it'll be more power efficient on the battery. So we'll get those deeper blacks, higher contrast ratio, it'll be brighter, but it'll be better on the battery and prone to less burn-in than OLED. Now this is really exciting to me because it brings a possibility of editing HDR on these MacBooks, so you wouldn't need a Pro display, and we got a little taste of that with the 12.9-inch iPad Pro, which is awesome to see, so these laptops couldn't come soon enough. Moving along, let's talk about the new OLED Switch, which has already been announced. Pre-orders are live, and if you're coming from a current Switch, this might not be the most exciting update for you. I don't think it's anything you need to jump to, but if you don't own a Switch or you're coming from a Switch Lite, this might be a great option for you. Now, the biggest update here is definitely that bigger 7-inch OLED display, and if you play hours and hours on end on an LCD display, you're definitely gonna notice a difference. It'll look less faded, more vibrant, punchy colors, deeper blacks. By no means is an LCD display bad, but once you go to OLED, and if you were to go back, it's just a whole different experience. Some other more minor updates is a different stand. It is wider and more adjustable. Honestly, I even forget that the current Switch even has a stand because I never use it, so maybe this will make me use it more on the go. The dock now also comes along with a wired LAN port, so if you're playing on your TV, you have the option of a much more stable online connection. This model also comes with 64 gigs of internal storage versus 32 on the last one, and enhanced audio. So lots of exciting stuff on the inside, and while this may not be the Switch Pro that we had been hoping for, if you've never had a Switch before, this is a great time to get one. Next up on the list, let's go back to smartphones for a bit and talk about that new Google Pixel 6 and 6 Pro. You might have seen some images that Google shared recently, which left people just wanting to know more about this phone because it's a complete redesign. I feel like the Pixel has always had a special place in the tech world, but over the past few years, it's kind of fizzled off a little bit, so hopefully this is a comeback that we've all been waiting for. It really is looking like a whole new phone inside and out. From a design standpoint, I definitely appreciate the extra sleekness and the colors, and on the inside, Google is ditching Qualcomm for their own processor, the Tensor processor, and as of now, there's not too much information of what exactly that will look like, but Google always excels in software and AI, so hopefully they take that to their advantage here. So when it comes to camera, I feel like that's always been a big part of the Pixel name, and that's really thanks to the software side of things. So hopefully with all these major upgrades, we should be seeing some major camera upgrades as well. And now with this new Tensor processor, I'm really excited to see what that means for the camera department. So we know it's official, but we don't know exactly when. It's looking like October timing, right after iPhone launch. So if you're looking for a new phone this year, you're gonna have a lot of options to choose from. So that's my list of upcoming tech that I'm most excited for. And if I had to throw a bonus one in there, I would say Apple Watch. If you guys want to see a video on that, let me know in the comments below. But thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and hasta luego.